This is your weekly forecast for the week of June 3rd. Okay, so Monday is calling you to stay in your own skin. So you may be hypersensitive to others' needs or the vibe of your surroundings, or you may, just be able to feel people's energy and just to be like protective of that. And also, this is a kind of telling you like whatever anybody's issues that are presented, or if you can sense that somebody is off or not having a good day or struggling in some way, or even the worldly events, anything that you come in contact with on Monday, or anybody or any energy or any news, is just a call to know to kind of like stay in your own body. Don't let the outside noise or anybody else's vibes affect how you feel internally. One thing that I've learned, even like being in a group setting, for example, I'm in this like group where we do readings on each other. We give each other readings to kind of like get better at our own practices. And we come back every week and share like how everything went. And a lot of times throughout, like I even remember, I feel like last week, there was a few people who shared some stories, and it ended up like they started to kind of like get super emotional, and I could just, as an empath, I could just feel the energy. I could just sense the energy. And I had to remember what I have learned, and that is a tactic to stay in your own skin. Even though I feel for this person, if I were to take in that energy, then it would affect my energy. We can care, but we're not meant to carry, So in order to protect myself and not to like carry their feelings that they're putting out, and make it like my problem, or like make it kind of like, oh, I feel like I need to help or fix this person or help them fix it, like not take on their like, not baggage per se, but they're like, that like take it on for me to work on rather than for them to work on. I had to literally like start breathing in and slowly breathing out. Like I started kind of just like connecting to my breath. And that's like bringing my attention from their feelings and bringing it back to like my feelings, So in the moment, in heightened emotions, just taking that time to reconnect or focus your attention on your body gets you out of that person's energy. And once again, that doesn't mean that you don't care or love, that person or whatever, or whatever was happening in the world or whatever. You're just not carrying it. You're not holding it, because that will hurt you in the long run. You're not meant to. And the guidance is to remind you that you are not meant to carry. Okay? You can care, but not carry. You don't get in the way of somebody else's lessons and what they need to work through. You just take that deep breath in and out. You do that for as many times as you can. You could do this while you're standing up. Like, you don't have to sit down or do anything like that. You just kind of, and that's you just diverting your attention back to your body. To you. Another good example that I learned, and this was from Sonia Choquette. I'll put her information below, because this was very helpful information that I've learned from her. Is that another thing is to point out things around you. Like, say, once again, let's go back to that example of me sitting in the space, and that and some of the people that was there, it was like ended up like crying and kind of like pouring out like what they have been going through. And so I was doing the breathing technique, and then I started doing the point out what's around me technique. So I was like, I see like books in front of me. I see crystals. So in my mind, people don't know this, I'm just still looking, but behind the screen, I'm like, I'm just like, okay, there's a book. That's a crystal. That's and I was just thinking that in my mind, and that was helping divert my attention from, I was still there and present and listening, but it was like my energy, I was like bringing my energy back to like my surroundings or things around me and my body, and that was helping me be able to take in, still care about the things and that they were saying, but it wasn't like it was detaching my it was detaching me from wanting to carry that and take their pain on as my own and merge and have to solve their problems and be the hero for them. As much as we may want to, it's going to hurt us in the long run because it's going to deplenish us in our energy and get in the way from our purpose, you know, what we're here to do, you know. But it's also going to it's going to be a disservice to that person because, you know, even though it's painful what they're going through, that is a part of their lesson and what they're here to learn. And through that, them getting through it, you know, is going to help them in the long run, grow them, and they're going to become stronger for that. Now, doesn't mean you can't offer guidance, you know, or give, you know, your 2 cents, but don't carry. So the card that I pulled, the tarot card, is the World, and it was in reverse. Just based off of what the first things that comes into my mind is like, I mean, the world is going through it. There's definitely a transition happening. You know, with this card being in reverse, it just makes me think of like maybe people being so separated or like not being in alignment or something like that. And we need to get back to that like connection and being helping the world, realizing that the world, the state of the world is up to us, kind of thing. And you know, maybe the reverse is that not that the world is falling, but like it's a reminder of like that we, once again, it's up to us, you know. And that, yes, there's work that needs to be done. But we need to come together. Perhaps. This is interesting. Okay, so the key words for the world reversed is stagnation, overwhelmed, delays, narrow view, resistance to change. So then I decided to look up what is happening astrologically on today. Mercury enters Gemini, which first that made me think of the stay in your own skin card, oracle card that came up, because Mercury in Gemini is going to bring a lot of mental busyness, okay? Because Gemini is very much like, again, very like always needing to like keep themselves busy, can do multiple things at once, multitask, involved in a lot of things at once, and once again super social and all that. So it needs to keep its mind like active, and doing you know things. But so once again, you probably will feel like just a lot of like mental busyness, or you have to focus on a lot of things, or use your mind a lot more than what you're used to, or just a lot of that, which could be exhausting if you're not used to that energy and you're more of a chill, like, you know, you know, definitely opposite from the Taurus energy. This is like very like pick up the pace, busy, moving, a lot of things pulling your attention, a lot of like socializing, a lot of like gossiping, a lot of like everything. So this is in our personal lives, but also on the outside world. Expect perhaps a lot going on, a lot of things happening in the world that's capturing our attention, and a lot of mental chatter, mind chatter perhaps, actual social chattering. So a lot of that picking up in our lives, and you can know how this is actually going to affect you on a personal level by looking up where Gemini is in your chart. That will tell you that's where Mercury is going to be transiting, and that's where this like mental, like this big activity of like as far as like your mind being like very stimulated, maybe overly active, overly stimulated. And it could also be or like wanting to learn a lot and like, you know, get a lot of receive a lot of information from different people and different places and stuff like that. And like, for example, for me, Gemini rules my 4th house. So for me, I'm gonna be paying attention to, okay, while Mercury's in Gemini, I'm already preparing myself that there's gonna be a lot of like me thinking more about family, home, internal work, but there's gonna be a busyness around like my home, my family, just like connections with them and that kind of thing. And even like talking more at home. This is a good example of like me doing these forecasts and like how I'm already being like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is actually going to be a lot. I've never done forecasts before. And I'm just like, this is like, I have to go through this whole week and I'm already like, so this is also a really good example of me like sharing like talking a lot at home. Because I'm gonna be doing more of these like so anyways, so yeah, look at that. But then that also makes me think of like the whole staying in your own skin thing, because as everybody's gonna get like a freaking upgrade and like they're just like a lot going on, and a lot of people once again vocalizing what's going on. That's another thing. It's like Gemini like to talk on. I just think of my cousin, like my cousin Gemini. She's like on the phone all the time. Not to say that we are gonna be, but it's more so like we want to share. You want to you want to talk. So that kind of like sometimes you may not want to be like, you may like people may tell you their business, or you may hear something from the world, and it's like, it's a lot of things coming, and it's just like, just remember, it's not your job to carry, okay? You can care, but don't carry. And if you need to like come back, like you're getting overloaded by other people's problems or whatever the case, get back to that body. Do those deep breaths to connect you to that body. Do those, point to whatever is around you to kind of like, so you don't take on everything that's going on or whatever works for you. I just say that, and like that's helpful for me. To just like do whatever you can to like focus your attention on something else, but still be present. You can still, like I said, care. But like if you feel yourself like wanting to take on other people's problems, this is a like, no, it's not your job. It's not your job. And do your best to like focus your attention away from that, but still know that you can still care, and you can still like, you can still hear them out. It just doesn't mean that you have to take on everyone's problems. We're also going to have Mercury in Gemini, as we were just talking about, is going to be trining Pluto in Aquarius. So kind of similar to what happened yesterday, how we had Jupiter in Taurus trining Pluto in Aquarius. Yeah, so this is very much reminds me of like the World card, for sure. This World card in reverse, because like once again, this like mental busyness, this communication, this up in communication, a lot of things happening, and that's pulling our attention in different parts of the world, and with the different people in our personal lives, and even within us, and it's just kind of like a lot of busyness. But there's also that is going to be in alignment with this whole like this transformation that Pluto in Aquarius is on the journey of having. And so this is going to be actually like, this is good to create the change that is going to be necessary, that needs to be made in this world and on a long-term basis. But just understand that it could be a lot. And then once again, to know that we can't take on everybody's tasks. We can't hold everybody's baggage. Like I said, we can still be, but just learning ways to like stay in your own skin as you are still receiving all this information and socializing and all that stuff like that. Okay, once again, this is great. It just may be a lot, but once again, if you have Gemini in your chart, this may be like great for you. But if you are not used to it, like, for example, if we think of the other fixed signs, and that's another representation of the World card. If you see the World card, you'll see like there's like 4 different parts or something about the 4. And those are the 4 fixed signs, because Aquarius is a fixed sign. So for example, also I meant to tell you that this card, the World card, the astrology sign that rules it is Saturn. And Saturn rules Aquarius. Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius traditionally. Modernly, if you think of modernly, is Uranus as well. So if you want to combine Saturn and Uranus, but I always like to put Saturn first because that is the ruler of Aquarius. So it is like putting structures in place to create a bigger change in the world. Knowing that it's our responsibility as a collective to create much needed change in the world, and also knowing that Saturn sometimes change happens a lot of times with Saturn through like hard times, hard stuff. But those are necessary things that although will be hard to go through and tough, it's necessary to create that change in the long run. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, as far as the fixed signs too. So if you're in a Scorpio or a Taurus, this energy is gonna be squaring you. Okay. That's gonna mean that anytime anything squares, it's gonna create some sort of friction or challenge. So that's just to keep in mind as well. Like for those who this energy is compatible with, like it's just like, once again, Aquarius and Gemini, that this is us thriving in this energy because we feel it. But for others, it may be like more challenging for Scorpios who do that internal work, who are very much not like, normally if you have a lot of Scorpio placements, you feel things so strongly, so that staying in your own skin could be challenging because you may feel the weight of the world on the deepest. You may feel the transformation on the deepest level. And plus, once again, it's like more of like internal. And so that may be hard for people with Scorpio placements or Scorpios to be out there more, or like to be able to, it may be too much to deal with all of this like Gemini energy. And then on top of that, also thinking about Taurus, anybody with Taurus placements, this may be like Taurus likes their comfort. They don't really want change. They're not really, they like to keep that like that predictability. So this may be like a wake up call too. Is getting any people with Taurus may feel like you have to get out of your comfort zone. It may just be like a lot. Okay, not comfortable at all. The opposite of comfortable, actually. So anyways, those are just some certain examples, but ultimately, like I said, I would just pay attention to on Monday where Mercury, or what house Gemini is ruling in your chart. So there you can see that Mercury is going to be transiting that place in your chart while for the next, I don't even know how many days Mercury is in Gemini, but just know that is, Mercury is going to be transiting, but we'll talk more. And this is why I like to do these forecasts now at the beginning of the week, because then we'll talk more about it and see what comes up like later when we do our Sunday meetups, our Sunday women's circles. And then also, like I said, focusing on where Pluto and Aquarius is in your chart. So looking at what house Aquarius rules and knowing that that's where the Pluto energy is, and combining those two houses. With Mercury trine Pluto, it also could mean like a deep dive into something that makes you feel like you are in some sort of mental focus on a deep level, because Mercury connects to the mind and your thoughts as well as communication, but Pluto is all about like transformation, light and dark. So it could, and there's an intensity to it, so it could be maybe like you intensely thinking about something or looking into something. Pluto and Aquarius could also be like something that transforms, or something new that is created perhaps through that deep dive or something, or maybe you looking within as well, or just something like that. So overall, today is a good day to do some sort of deep dive, whether that's into something external, or a deep dive, or through conversation that you have, a deep dive through that moment of like connecting to yourself, having time of grounding and really looking inward. You will perhaps deep dive through a conversation that you have and kind of go deep into like some sort of deep talk or deep talk that's like transformative in some way, or some sort of deep mental work. So this is a good day for anything like astrological or any psychological things. This is a good day to learn something new, because also it's more with that Mercury and that Aquarius as well. Starting something new or making a change into deep diving into something new could be the start of a bigger transformation, or a new way of thinking, or a new perspective, or meeting someone new. Today could be the a day, or within the next couple of days, of like just a more profound, like transformative experience that affects you on an intellectual level, or something, or more like deep within, or just a new outlook on something, if anything. And then lastly, we have the moon in Taurus. And that reminds me of the oracle card we received today, which was stay in your own skin. That is the best way that I could maybe put Taurus. Because that is grounding yourself back into your body. Taurus represents the body. It's like the physical things that we can touch. Taurus is an earth sign, so it is about grounding into your body, grounding into the present. So it's kind of like, because that, like, we perhaps may be experiencing some sort of like complexities between the busyness of life, the busyness of socializing, or having a lot more conversations, or talking a lot more with people, or using your mind a lot more, and just kind of just like a lot going on. Like stuff is gonna pick up a lot. I mean, in June is gonna be a busy month already. And though, for like, but then you have that the trying to also be present, and that's the thing kind of with like Taurus and Geminis. They aren't compatible. So it's like, this is a good example of this would be kind of like after you've exerted a lot of energy talking to someone, listening to someone, going back and forth, or learning something, or at work you just had dealt with a bunch of people and their different personalities and just a bunch of things, whatever. The kids came and there's a lot going on with them, or whatever. It's like taking some time, maybe you feel a little overwhelmed with that, or maybe a friend told you something and you just felt like, oh, it was a lot, but you want to help, but then it's like, it's just not. It's like that, once again, learning to not make your problem someone else's problem. Knowing that we can all still be there and hear each other's stories, but also letting everyone still handle that, letting everyone take care of their stories, but it's okay to be an ear to them. But also, like I said, so, and then that'll help. What will help with that is connecting to that moon and Taurus energy. Connecting to your senses, doing things that are grounding for yourself to keep you in the present moment, or keep you connected to your body, to yourself. Taurus is a Venus sign, so connection, is important, but also more so like connection to the things. Like, this is probably a reminder to perhaps like, think about if you've done anything that brought you some brought you joy, connecting, or not even joy, but more so like pleasure. There we go. What are your pleasures in life? You may feel like you kind of want more, or you want to feel more pleasure, and that can be in any kind of ways. But this is a lot of times we connect to the things that we may crave, the things that bring us certain things that bring us more pleasure. We may realize we haven't had much of that pleasure in our life, and something may make us think of like, yeah, needing that. So anyways, I just thought of Moon and Taurus is a perfect way to kind of like just stay in your own skin, doing things that kind of bring you comfort, trying to create some or have the balance between the chaos of Gemini or the busyness of Gemini, but also finding a space or you're somewhere where you can just be present with yourself and have a little time of just like grounding yourself back. Because also, I'm just also thinking we have like Gemini and Aquarius is air sign. That's interesting. I mean, duh, but I just made that connection. So it's like balancing all this air energy now with like that, this like also need to socialize or maybe want to social or all that extra stuff, but also balancing what our bodies may feel right now. And that is that like presence, kind of get, presence with like life, back to life, doing things, like I said, that grounds us back into our realities, our day to day, grounding us into the things that make us feel pleasurable outside of just our communications with people, like in our everyday lives, or our loving connections, things that bring us comfort. And then also moving, like just the slowness too, not feeling like rushed, being able to just really just have some ease. So yeah, that's what's coming up for me now. I will be sharing how this kind of relates to me at the end of the day. I'll just like jot down any feelings that I've noticed I've experienced today that identifies with the astrology for each day. But I'll share more of that on like my social media. But the forecast will be more so on the healthygirlhealing.com. I mean, the Healthy Girl Healing community. It's just definitely gonna be maybe feelings of feeling conflicted, because your body may want to be comfortable, or you may be craving comfort and like security and stability, and like just being able to like kind of you may it's just that comfort, but then also there's a lot of stuff going on outside of you that may be harder, may feel like it's harder for you to feel that comfort or have those moments of peace and stillness and quiet, and so you may have to make more effort to listen to what your body is telling you, I guess. It's like your body's feeling like maybe it wants the simple life. It just wants to enjoy the simple everyday pleasures of life. But then everything outside of you, like just everything is the opposite. Like it's just externally busy, but maybe you're needing to like have some time to get away perhaps from the busyness, and have some time of grounding into your body. So maybe make time to do that. Maybe make time to do some meditation, make some time to go for some walks, being around nature. Maybe make some time to have some good food. Maybe cook you a nice home cooked meal. Maybe, light a nice candle, because Taurus connects, like, loves to, thinking about being grounded. It's like the best way that you are grounded is when when your senses are all in like being connected, like your sense of smell, so some nice candles or a scent, your sense of taste, yeah, so some good healthy food or home cooked food or cooking, your ear, whatever you would call it, yeah. That is maybe putting some like nice like music on, really really getting back to, there we go, those daily rituals of yours, like those daily things that you do every day that kind of feels like, you know, a ritual that kind of like connects you to like your pleasure, that feels pleasurable and feeds you. This is a good time, a good reminder to like feed your soul. What feeds your soul? Get, you know, find some time to do that, some of that. And despite, yes, the chaos, even if it's an hour, schedule that time in, because your body may be needing that, and it'll make all the difference. Okay, even if it's even 30 minutes, 15, whatever you can do. But then within the next couple of days, yeah, you'll be called to find more pleasure in your day-to-day lives. Okay? Hopefully this is helpful.